Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I wanted to discuss the topic of Omega watches. Are Omega watches worth it in 2024? Now, wristwatch check, I'm actually wearing my 2024 Speedmaster white dial, as I like to call it, the Craig Master. So, in terms of Omegas, this watch has been the fourth Omega or fifth Omega. Fourth Omega I've bought in my lifetime, and I love Omega watches. I think Omega watches are fucking cool, right? So they have the history, they've got the pedigree in terms of top watch brands in the world. As of 2024, they're ranked number 3. Back in 2018, 2019, I believe they were ranked number 2, just behind Rolex. So Omega is a great brand. It's not a shit brand. It is a very good brand. But what's prompted me to make this video is, number 1, I've been asked what I think about Omega, which is fair enough. Number 2, I've actually been very busy visiting different brand boutiques and ADs. So recently I've visited Tudor, I went to see IWC, I've actually visited Panerai last week, which was nice. Various authorized dealers for multi-brand areas, so multi-brand locations I've visited. And every boutique has talked shit about Omega besides Grand Seiko. So I went to Grand Seiko, they didn't talk shit about anyone. Every other boutique talks shit about Omega. So I shit you not, the rep in Tudor here in Sydney, the Tudor boutique, they said to me word for word, they said, unlike Omega, our watches don't fall 20% in value as soon as you walk out, which I found laughable because Tudor's probably closer to 30. So I don't like it when people shit talk because it just means they can't sell properly. If you have to shit talk your competitor, you're not building value, you're just, degrading someone else and yada yada. That's a different topic, salesmanship, but that's just poor salesmanship. So are Omega watches worth it? The answer is yes. However, there's a caveat to that. If you're thinking about Omega from a financial perspective, it's not a good buy. It suffers the same fate as Tudor and a lot of other brands. When you buy it, you do lose money on it. And when you're looking at Omega, it shouldn't be a logical thing. When looking at Omega, you have to follow more of the emotional part of your brain. It's not a logical decision. It's more of an emotional decision. And what I mean by that is when you compare Omega with other brands are technically better. Other brands have more value for money. You could go on and on and on about it, comparing it with other brands, but comparison is the killer of joy. It's the thief of joy. So when I compare Omega to Tudor shits all over Omega because it's Meta certified now. It has a better power reserve. It's better value for money. Value retention is arguably better, but both are pretty shit still. And you can go on and on and on. And eventually, if you start thinking with your logical brain, you end up just not liking Omega. And that's what I feel a lot of people do, is that they look at Omega, compare it, think about the logical aspect, think about the specs and, nerd out and shit. And then they end up losing wood for Omega. It's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to buy it because you like it, right? You buy Omega because you like the design, you like the heritage. They're well-built watches. They're fantastic built watches. When I compare Omega and Tudor side by side in terms of quality, Omega feels better. It might just be a brain thing, right? A psychological thing, but to me, Omega feels better. So that's the first thing to consider. It's more of an emotional aspect, more of an emotional decision. Speedmaster, Seamaster, Aquaterra, look, you can just complete a 3-watch collection with Omega. Omega is one of the brands where you can honestly build a collection from that catalog and it'll fit you well. I can't do that with Black Bays. Like if you got your Black Bay 39, you got a fucking Pelagos and you get the Chrono, I can't fit the Chrono, so I can't make a 3-watch collection with Tudor. Same with Cartier. I just get the Santos and that's it. I'm not gonna get the Santos Chrono. It's too expensive and it's too big. And they don't have a diver, so to speak. Like you can technically dive with the Santos, but you know what I mean? Like you can't build a collection around that. Omega you can, and you can build a fantastic collection with Omega. The biggest problem I have with Omega is that in the last 5 years, they haven't innovated much in terms of their design, in terms of their features, in terms of, even if they're in their movements, they haven't really changed much. And when they do change something, it's very small. And I'm focusing more on their general releases, right? So the three main core lines, their Seamaster, their Speedmaster, and their Aquaterra. You know, if we don't look into like their Constellation and all the other stuff, like just the main core lines, haven't really done much. So when we compare them to Tudor, in the last 5 years, Tudor has come out with banger after banger. So you've got the 58, you've got the 54, you've got the Tudor Pro, Pelagos 39, you've got the different chronos, the FXD. You also got the new 58 GMT, the new 41s have the Meta certification. So there isn't anything else that separates Omega from Tudor anymore. In terms of movements and actual watchmaking, it's the same shit. It's actually Tudor's considered better because you've got a higher power reserve of that 70 odd hours, where the Omegas only have about 55-ish hours with the Meta certification. So what exactly are you paying for with Omega, right? So when we look at the price points, Tudors are sitting around that maybe 5.5 to 6 grand. If you're getting it brand new, it's about 6,700 for a Black Bay 41, the new Metas monochrome or the burgundy. You can get them new as well on the gray and secondary for about 5.5 to 6 grand. So value-wise, there's a lot of value to be had there. Whereas the equivalent Omega, so my beloved Seamaster 300, I love that watch. That costs about 10 grand, bro. Like 9.8K to 10 grand in Australia, and in the used market, we're talking about 6.5, 5 maybe 6 grand in the used market. In the gray market, if you wanted to get this new, you're probably talking 18, so 9, maybe 8 grand, 7 grand, something like that. So look, talking about value between Tudor and Omega, Tudor wins. Tudor wins in the value proposition game. But when we're talking money about Omega and Tudor, both are shit when it comes to value retention. Like, you don't buy these for value retention, you buy them because you like them. So if you're worried about money and holding as much money as possible, don't look at these brands, right? You want to buy them because you want to buy them. They're great brands, they're great products. Value retention wise, not a good thing to look into, especially from retail. It's not a good thing. If you go to an AD, Tudor, you can't get discounts. They don't discount much, well, especially here in Sydney, none of them discount. Omega, the ADs do discount. However, some of my good AD connections stopped stocking Omega because they just didn't see the point. They lost so much money stocking them that it's either they discount them by 25% to make a sale and make the best part of fuck all, or they just don't bother. So they just stop bothering. So Omega is trying to be more upmarket with their offerings, and it shows with their new releases. So outside from the core lines, you've got the Speedmaster, the new two-tone variations. They're great. As soon as I saw them, they're actually pretty hot. But price point wise, 30,000 Australian dollars. Fuck me, like I'd buy something else for 30,000 Australian dollars. I'd probably get a two-tone, a root beer. You can get a root beer for 30K. Yeah, it's not new, but it's Rolex root beer. Like, it's for 30K, I'd probably get that. There's many other watches you can get for 30K. I'd prefer to get multiples. So maybe a 3-watch collection, 10K each for 30K instead of actually getting the two-tone. And there's other releases they made that just didn't make sense to me because they're trying to reach into the higher upper market level. So the Speedmaster 38, it's a great watch on paper because 38mm lug to lug is a lot more compact. Green colorway, I really like the green on the new 38s, but they jammed fucking diamonds on the bezel and jacked the price up in that mid 20K range. So what's the point, bro? Like, I'm not gonna be able to buy that. And even if I could buy that, and I can buy that right now, why would I want to spend 28K on a diamond encrusted Speedy? Like, it doesn't make sense. Where I can get this for retail, which is going for retail right now, for, you know, that 13K range, and I'd be happy with it. So this doesn't make sense in my opinion. So the quality isn't the problem. It's not the problem with Omega. The quality is great. The quality is fantastic. I love the quality of this. This is actually the only Omega. This is the only Omega that's gotten me excited in the last 5 years. So 5 years ago, I bought my Speedy, the Hesselite. It was good, it was okay. But I bought it for 5.5 grand. So fast forward 5 years later, it's retailing for 13 grand. So what exactly has changed from then until now? So you've got a better-ish movement, better bracelet, and that's about it. Other than this particular piece, which excited me, the Speedy doesn't need much done to it. It's fine the way it is, but the offerings that they create for the Speedy, they need to make that more accessible for the market. Like the crap that they release in the 38mm range, the older stuff, it's not a complete package, so it doesn't have the good bracelet. You have to buy that separately, which is shit. So, but the new ones, the new releases that they did for the 38mm, it has the updated bracelet, it has the good bracelet, it has the good colors, it has the good design features. So why don't you just release that for the general public? That'll be a lot better. Moving on to the Seamaster. I love the Seamaster line. Actually, recently I was trying to buy a diver. So I was in the market for a dive watch. I was looking at the 300 again. So I've owned both the 300 Heritage and the 300 Pro. The only other Seamaster I haven't owned is the Planet Ocean, but to me, it's like, okay, if I was to go Planet Ocean, why am I going to go there? It's going to cost me, again, 10-ish grand plus. When comparing that to, let's say, the Tudor equivalent, I'd probably just go with the Tudor equivalent. It looks great, it has better specs on paper, and it has the same features, micro adjust clasp and everything. It's like, okay, I don't get a ceramic bezel, but I can get a Pelagos 39 for basically half-ish the price, and it's the same shit, if not a touch better. So it just, value proposition-wise for Omega doesn't make sense to me anymore. When I bought my Seamaster 300, I got it for 5 grand brand new at the AD. Fast forward 5-6 years, I get it, price increases, they're a real thing, but making this close to 10 grand now, when in terms of value proposition, it doesn't really stack up to other competitors out there. It's kind of like, what's the point? It's not even the first choice anymore. It's like the second or third choice option. And it's not me shitting on the watch. I love the Seamaster. I would buy a Seamaster again, but for the right price. So on the gray secondary market, used, the Seamaster is going for about 5 to 6 grand. New, we're talking about 8-ish grand. Look, at 8-ish grand, I'll probably get something else. And that leads me on to the next comparison. With Cartier, Cartier has overtaken Omega in 2020, and it's easy to see why. Cartier has lines of models that appeal more to the general public, and they're also appealing to women. I don't know many women that looks at Omega and be like, oh, I'm gonna get a Speedy, or I wanna get a Seamaster, too fucking big. However, I see many women going for Cartier to get a Santos Medium. Santos Medium is fucking awesome. It's a unisex size. It fits me well because I have smaller wrists, but it also fits my partner well. So we actually share that watch together. Santos Dumont comes in different sizes. The Tank comes in different sizes. What Omega can do in terms of copying Cartier, because Cartier has obviously beat them, they're number 2 now and Omega's number 3, is take that philosophy of different sizes. They already do it, but apply it to their core line. So the Speedy, they can have different sizes. They can do it, they already do it. But the 38mm, they just fucking jam diamonds onto it and make it unaccessible. 25 grand, I'm not paying 25 grand for fucking diamonds. No, my partner isn't paying 25 grand for diamonds. But, in saying that, my partner loves the Speedmaster design. I know a lot of females who love the Speedmaster design. They just can't wear it. So having it in the smaller case would sell. That's accessible. The Seamaster, Jesus Christ, I wanted a Seamaster mid-size case for a very long time because they did it in the past. They already did it. But they're not doing it right now because, for whatever reason, they've taken that and put it in the Planet Ocean. Planet Ocean isn't really the go-to. It's not the main Seamaster. The main Seamaster, they could innovate with that by offering the different sizes in today's age. They actually need to revamp the Seamaster line as it is. It's been around for 6 years, and legit, from when I bought it 6 years ago or 5 years ago for about 5 grand, up until today, not much has changed. So it's a hard pill for me to swallow going out to buy a new Seamaster because nothing's changed. So I'm paying double for no additional benefit. So that's a hard pill to swallow. So with the Seamaster, different case sizes, refreshing the design language, refreshing it. I think it's time for an upgrade. And also the bracelet, just refreshing it. They don't have to change much to it, you know, they just have to refresh it in a new way. Maybe the clasp, reduce the size of it, make it more streamlined, make it less bulky. They don't have to be that bulky. Maybe the bracelet taper, maybe add a bracelet taper to it to make it more vintage inspired and things of that nature. But you know, like, that's why they have marketing and R&D departments to figure that shit out. I'm sure that they've thought of releasing different case sizes for the Seamaster. And look, the Aquaterra lines, the Aquaterra, they're doing good things with it, but they just need to release that with the wider offering of Aquaterras. So I was actually in the market for a green olive dial Aquaterra with the teak because they have the sizing that's great for it, 38 millimeters, fucking awesome. But then they released the black lacquer variant with the upgrades, right? The upgraded bracelet with the micro adjust, the new refreshed look, even the bracelet itself, the presidential kind of bracelet, that's pretty cool. Putting that innovation of the micro adjust into the other Aquaterra offerings will make it perfect, right? So there's not much that they have to do, but the annoying thing with Omega is that they do these innovations, but they do it bit by bit for particular colorways in the model line that forces you to go into there. And then if you want to buy the innovation, like the bracelet after, it's just a whole fuck around. It's just quite frustrating and annoying. And look, Omega is great. I'm not trying to shit on the brand, but they have a bit of catching up to do. So to summarize this video, when we're comparing Omega to their Cartiers, say, look, Omega, it's the design language that you're paying for. It's the history, it's the heritage. It's a great piece to buy. If you're gonna buy it brand new, just be aware that value retention is shit. Just don't worry about that if you're buying this. If you are buying it, but are worried about the money, the financial side of things, buy it used. It's the same with Tudor, right? So you buy a Tudor new, you're gonna get fucked on. Same thing with Omega. If you buy it new, you're gonna get fucked on. That's just the name of the game. You know, that's not to say don't buy it new. If you want to buy it retail at the boutique, just do it. Go for it. If you have the money, sure. You know, this shit, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to make sense when you're buying dumb stuff like this. Like this, I bought this for, you know, a little bit under retail. I know people who's paid for this over retail, but the value is up to you to decide if it's worth paying. So to answer the question, are Omega watches worth it? 100%, absolutely. However, just be careful when comparing Omega to other brands because it's a more of an emotional purchase. Omega is an emotional brand. When looking into Omega, don't think about it too much. Just go with your feeling. Don't worry about the specs. The specs are fine. When you're comparing it with other brands like Tudor, you're gonna ruin the experience for yourself because then you're gonna start thinking, oh fuck, I can go with Tudor. Like the logical choice is just go with Tudor. That's the logical choice. The logical choice is also buy it pre-owned, buy it used. That's the logical choice. But this isn't a logical purchase. So if you're gonna look at Omega, go for it. Do it, don't think about it. Just go with the feel because it is an emotional brand. You know, you buy the Seamaster because of fucking James Bond, right? It has the history behind it. You got the Speedy because it's an iconic watch that's went to the moon. Not this one, but it's gone to the moon and blah, 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 blah. Like you buy it for those things and those things alone. The Aquaterra, it invokes that I made it vibe. It's an alternative to the Datejust and it's well built and it's great. You know, like it's an emotional thing. Don't compare it in terms of specs with other brands. Don't think about it too much. Just buy the thing, right? So that's the video. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.